What's up? You're the first one here, Jay Denton. This is kind of off the cuff. Teresa, how you doing? Give it a minute. We'll wait for a few more people to come in. Did y'all have a good New Year's? Carlina, what's up? This is not really planned out. I probably should have planned this, like posted this earlier. Like, you know what I mean? Like set it as pending, but yeah, I just heard about the 2020 episode. How was that? Gino, how was that episode? Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about what I wanted to do for this year. Like I've been doing, I guess in the big scheme of things, as far as YouTube is concerned, like I'm doing good, but I'm not consistent. And I'm a perfectionist, and that ends up keeping me from progressing and getting you know, more views and watch time and things like that. And I'm not really even pressed on getting a zillion views. It's just that the amount of time that I put into this, it's got to be worth it, because I already get I make a living off of my creativity, and the time I put into other things, it's got to be worth my time. So I've been trying to figure out ways I can bring more content without watering it down. And that's been, I think, the biggest hurdle for me, because I've just come to the realization that every video that I post doesn't have to be all the bells and whistles and morphing pictures and all that stuff. And I like doing this, and I like the interaction that I get with you guys. And what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to go 100% at this. I'm not going to go a month, 6 weeks, 2 months without posting a video. I see other people who, I guess, in the same genre as far as true crime, that cover the same cases, that are able to post on a regular basis, and their stuff's not really watered down. And sometimes you have to say things more than once for people to get understand where you're coming from. So Grover, can you open up paid subscriptions? That's another thing where I was going. I wasn't gonna have memberships or pay subscriptions if I wasn't putting up enough content to make it worth it for y'all. So there are a lot of things for me that I had to get comfortable with in order to, I guess, be at this point where I can say, all right, I'm going to do this for real. Because as y'all know, I didn't like being on camera for a while, and that's I just didn't like it. But I understood that in order for me to get people to really watch, like they have to see your face, and so that's. I mean, if I could, if I could get the same amount of good feedback without showing my face, I would. But so I've gotten over that part. I'm still like, clearly I'm not like some of the other people that y'all watch that can do live streams so smoothly. And I watch a lot of people's content just to learn, like, how are they managing all this at one time and playing a video here and doing comments over there. And so it's been a big learning process. So yeah, like I'm really going 100 miles an hour at this now. I think that's what I wanted to say as far as 2026 goes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of the cases that I've been working on, as far as Dan Markel, Madeline Soto. I've been working on Lindsay Buziak, the one in British Columbia, but I need to get more documents because I don't have much to go on as far as primary source information. So I filed a FOIA in a Canadian one. So hopefully that happens, because they're supposed to respond back by the 20th of this month. Let me go through the comments real quick. You're very talented and patiently. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, I know that is okay. So the Ray Rivera case happened in Baltimore, 2006. It's why I edit videos. So I've been working on this for a while. It's pretty much done. It's just that every time I make another video, I learn something new that I can apply to that project, and that project is not one that I can be like 99% good with. It has to be perfect, because it's a lot of information. It's almost 3 hours long, and it's just information. So I'm hoping before summer, maybe before that, but we'll see. I love your statement. Your perspective is wide too. Thank you. And you know what? I really appreciate that, because I know that some of the things I say seem really left field, and I try to explain them as best as I can. And most of the time they land. Like, I really haven't been really wrong on things. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like, I'll mention something and then it might get a lot of, I don't know about that, speculation and conjecture. Yes, it is speculation. Yes, a lot of it is conjecture. But I'm not saying it as fact. I'm telling you up front, this is what I think. And it's based on all these things I already showed you on the screen. So it's not like I'm just making stuff up. I look at all the documents and things like that, and my shit's land. So you know what? When it comes to true crime, I really feel like I'm doing something that no one else is doing. I'm that unique. I'm just unique. It's not like there's no levels to uniqueness. No, there's no one doing this shit like me. And why would I not go 100 miles an hour at this point, you know? See, y'all can't compliment me this much. I don't want my ego to go, but I really appreciate it because some of these videos take forever to do. What's up? I didn't know you were on. Yeah, I didn't know. I just felt like talking for a little bit. And talk about a couple of the ideas that I have for the cases that I'm working on right now. But so first, let me talk about the Dan Markel case. And I didn't see the latest episode of 2020. I didn't even know there was an episode of 2020. But I really don't have much outside of the last episode of Wendy's Television, which goes over the actual July 18th and the couple months before that. My last video, the Wendy plus Sigfredo equal to Al. I wanted to get the Al theory out there to where it hopefully makes sense and have it on its own, because I've noticed that some of the things that I don't put out enough content to where if someone says this guy Grish on YouTube said XYZ, they could go and find like a quick snippet. And that's not, so I wanted to have like at least something short up there. I think that I have a good, I just feel like this is it for Wendy this year. There's really no reason to go have any more time with her walking around. And she's definitely a flight risk. So I don't have really much more outside of that. So it's pretty much if something happens or comes up or she gets arrested, and then I'll have more content about it. I might make shorter videos that go over specific things that I speculate on, but I'm not gonna just, I don't have it in me to just post like video after video that don't say anything new. And I for a long time I watched other creators handle this case, and even though they do have they have good content, some of it is just the same stuff over and over again, and I don't want to put y'all through that. So hi Leslie, you're going to post what, keep posting. I get it. It's a lot of work to be live stream. It is. And I did a live stream with Leslie, a True Crime in a Minute. It was like a week and some, I think it was like 12 days ago. It was a fun live stream. And Leslie is, I think, the only other person that actually believes that Wendy and Sigfredo Garcia have met in person. A lot of y'all don't think that. And that's why I really can't wait for Wendy to get arrested, so I can just sit here and just be like this, like, told you. I can't wait. But one thing I noticed, I'll have to make a video about this, but being that now I'm posting on YouTube, I'm not just watching from an audience perspective, but I've noticed that in like discussion forums, Reddit, Facebook. This is about the Dan Markel case. And someone had posted or tried to post the Wendy and Sigfredo video. And it wasn't their fault, but they just didn't put the link up there right. And they tried and it didn't work. But they said, look up Grish on YouTube and you'll be able to find the video that they're referencing. Now, this is not like a shot at the people in the discussion forum, but I always wondered why or how certain things that I never said would end up in discussion forums. Like Grish said this, and this, and I didn't say anything close to that. And for me, when I say certain things in a video or on live, I'm really careful about what I say and the details that I go over. And then it's just, I'll see something that just really I didn't say at all. And I always wonder, how did this happen? And then I saw one post and it was from like almost 3 months ago, but I just happened to see it a couple days ago. And I just read because the thread was already old. So I just like read through it, and it went from people not knowing where to find the video to just what their opinion on my delivery is and things like that. And then it wasn't even about the video anymore. And it's like, how many levels of irony to discuss a video that you didn't watch? Like almost nobody watched the video, but it was a lot. It was like almost 70 comments. And all but the person that posted it watched the video when they commented. And it was just like, now I understand how this works, and how people who say things, who are on YouTube like myself, say things and then things turn into something completely different. And it was really kind of eye-opening for me, because I just always thought like maybe people just aren't really, understanding what I'm saying. Or I've seen comments that are like, he jumps around from topic to topic, he's hard to follow, which it's true, but it doesn't keep you from just going back like 20 seconds and listening to what I said again. But I just wondered how things I never said at all, it would end up as if that's what I said. I'm not trying to go too far into that. We are smart consumers, and we know the good stuff. And thank you. Hi, Maya. I think I can get there with some more events. It's out of the field to me that Wendy met with Sigfredo. And I wouldn't expect you to. I don't expect people to think that. If you're in if you're living a certain type of life, certain things happen. And this situation is the perfect environment for someone who is on one end of the communication line, which is Wendy, and the other end, which is Sigfredo. And you have all these people. You have Charlie, to Katie, and that's too many people. And just the time of Halloween 2013 going all the way until June, until we know that Sigfredo and Luis went up there. You're not offer, like, no one's doing any type of nothing, claiming that they're gonna, or just being told, yeah, we're gonna pay you $100,000, and you don't have any down payment, you have no good faith payment. They're not doing that, and that's why they didn't go, in my opinion, because they didn't get any money, and Katie didn't care about giving Sigfredo the paper, as she calls it. And how would she know it's just a paper if she didn't open the envelope? But I will. Let me ask you this, Maya. What if the search history in Google Trends for February of 2014, let's say like a month before the Yardbird double date thing, that the spikes for the searches for Sigfredo Garcia out of Tallahassee were at their peak? And what if the search history for Catherine McBanawa out of Tallahassee the week after Yardbird were at their peak? What if the Google image search out of Miami one day after the beach photo, Father's Day, remember that picture, the 3 single moms on Father's Day, and the Google image search for Dan Markel was at its highest, was on June 16th, 2014. So why would someone be searching Sigfredo Garcia out of Tallahassee in February 2014 and then in March of 2014? And why would someone be Googling, Google image searching Dan Markel on June 16th of 2014? Remember, Donna had the car and license plate stuff written down. They needed a picture to print out to put on that paper, right? And Katie was just at their house. So I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe, this is my opinion, they didn't have a good excuse from Katie as to why nothing's happening, and she could just say, oh, they lost the paper and they had to print out another one. But Sigfredo was already there 2 weeks prior, before they Google image searched him in Miami. I mean, that's not like a spot on thing, but I don't know how to load screenshots in the StreamYard, but I have the screenshots of the Google Trends that show that. Now, I should have read the comments. Voice, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is that Albanian? It looks Albanian. That looks like an Albanian name. But but thank you. Yeah, I don't cover just every case. It's gotta be something that I see within the case that it's like, then I'll cover it. Like with the Dan Markel, it was just the whole dynamics of rich white Jewish family gets these brown people from the hood to kill somebody, and all at the time all the minorities are locked up, and it's like, Damn. And I saw a comment where someone was talking about like how Wendy and Sigfredo would never or Wendy would never talk to Sigfredo, like she wouldn't talk to the garbage man or something like that. They don't run in the same social circles. And it's like, that's the point. The point is, you would never think that these Buenos over here in Hialeah or wherever would be around these people. And it's like, but in reality, like in real life, you don't have to be in someone's social circle to do business, right? Are you using a green screen? Because I've been thinking, are you sitting on a kitchen island? Yeah, I'm sitting on a kitchen. I'm not using a green screen. I'm sitting on a kitchen island. If I had a green screen, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I would use a green screen. I have too much art to put up on the wall or something behind me. That's actually kind of a pet peeve of mine when people have like the green screen. Back when COVID first hit, and people had they got their bookshelves, and you know some of those fools don't read. They got the books horizontal on the shelf, like y'all don't read. And then they got the green screen. It's like, oh, now you really don't read. Put something else in the background. But I mean, it looks good, but I like when there's actual books there because then I can look and see like what this person read? What are they reading about? Difficult to imagine doing a reactionary video to a video I didn't watch. Yo, it was a whole thread on Facebook, and none of them watched the video. It was like it was interesting, but for me, it was interesting to understand how things are, just how someone's confidence in their commentary just supersedes the content. Like the content's not even relevant. It's just like my opinion on what I've seen from this person before, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. And it works. Somehow it works. You can also take snippets of long videos and make shorts to build brand awareness. You know what? Yeah. I was looking into that. Like I saw that on StreamYard. I just don't want to be like recycling the same stuff. I want it to have the same effect. So I'm gonna figure out a way to do it, like post more, but still make it effective. It's not just about just getting views and stuff. Like I want the right views. I think when Edison met Sigfredo and her beach pic with Katie was her trophy picture for crime. I think that photo was taken with Katie's phone, and I don't know this if it were posted on Facebook, but I do know that other photos were shared on WhatsApp, and I'm not saying that Wendy and Katie definitely spoke on WhatsApp, but I know I wouldn't put that past her. But like the trophy, I think Wendy does shit like that. And I'm not gonna say that picture is one of those, but like I think she does that. I think the Bullet Bourbon is like a mental trophy for her. I think that I And just like, you know how people say how like arsonists and people like that, they'll go back to the crime scene to see the results of their work. I think that's exactly what happened when she was seen pulling up to the crime scene. She was already there, allegedly. I believe that. I believe she was there when it happened. She heard it happen. She just couldn't see it from her vantage point because she was 100 or so feet away, and it happened in the garage. But I can't wait. I just can't wait till this all. When she gets arrested, oh man, I'm gonna feel. I hope I feel a lot better about what ends up being shared. Based on who Wendy lives with now and the fact that they would have been in the same area at the same time, I believe she would have met Sigfredo. Right, like. All right. Sigfredo and Luis are in Tallahassee. Wouldn't it just make a lot more sense for like the small updates that Sigfredo would need to know exactly when Dan is going to be at the gym and things like that? That had to come from Wendy. Like, Charlie wouldn't know that. Katie wouldn't know that. Why would they go and play telephone with that information? Why would you want two other people having to take their own time into like relaying a message? It's just, and I just, they don't have to be in touch 24/7, but like the whole, when I said that before Donna's trial, I said that Sigfredo and Wendy were in contact with each other, but when they played Dan's voicemail at Donna's trial and he said, I'm going to be at the gym between this time and that time, I was, that hurt to hear that, but I'm 99% sure she contacted that man and was like, look, he's going to be there. Someone's going to, you know what? I think Wendy's one of them. And they're so easy to spot. Though women like Wendy on the surface would be with a Dan Markel because she wants to just procreate with Dan Markel, and outside of that, she doesn't want anything to do with them. She said it herself. Then you have, it's like those type of women are like, okay, like you always hear like men talk about like how men see women as like sex objects. Certain women see men as success objects. So they'll be around someone that has status, has a certain, they have connections and things like that. But after 5 p.m., she's around dudes like me. And that's just, I'm not saying she gets down with all the wild stuff, but like I think that she's so easy to spot. Like her type is just, yeah, she's, her family's rich, all that. Nah, listen. You get you get around people at that level, whether you made it to that level or you're just as part of your environment. They're around people who like are rich because they're in the medical field or whatever they do, that their profession made them rich. They're around people at that level, or they're around criminals. I'm sorry. It's not like, oh, these guys are from the hood. Nah, they're around those I don't like saying upper class. It's women like Wendy, like a Sigfredo would be ideal for Wendy, in my opinion. Wendy let go of her brother and brother. She's the devil in disguise. She is. She's a mess. Did you hear Donna paid someone $50,000 before June trip to take Dan Markel, and he took the money and ran? I heard that, but I don't remember where I heard it. But I'm wondering if when Jeff talked about that on the stand, and he said he didn't know if it was 15 or 50, or did he say that in his police interview? I don't know how Donna would approach someone to do that. Or maybe they were talking about the money that they were giving to Katie. And since nothing happened from their perspective, she took the money, they took the money and ran. From Donna's perspective, but I don't know. There were some that what was that woman's name? Drina, the she's the one that testified in Donna's trial. She was I don't know if she was Donna Selly. I don't remember. Oh, she was in a dorm. She wasn't even in the South. She was in a dorm. So like, I think they were in the same dorm. And I'm not sure if she said that or not. Why hasn't Wendy been charged? Because in my opinion, Wendy's done a lot more to try to keep herself out of jail that's out of bounds. I think I know this isn't speculation, and I'm the only person that brought this up. Wendy had started a nonprofit. You know, she does the nonprofit stuff. As she said in I think in Katie's trial, she raises money for nonprofits. She raises money for her own nonprofit too. And she started one called something Florida Immigrant Children's Defense Fund of Florida. That's what she started. She started it a month before Katie McBannon was trial. Katie and Sigfredo, when they went on trial together, she started this nonprofit, and she put the person who's the ad litem attorney, who's appointed by the governor of Florida, she put him on the payroll as the director. And he works in the Leon County Courthouse, and his office is on the second floor. And I don't know if that's just maybe they love helping the kids that much. Wendy does, but she didn't file taxes on that nonprofit. There's no 990 form for that nonprofit, but she took the guy off of that nonprofit 5 months later. So you can take what you want from that. Oh, and his office is directly next door to ABC Liquor Store. And that's not speculation either. Food trucks, Monroe Mosaic. You know what? That picture that from that picture that was taken, the one I posted on I had in the, it was on Fancy Fiction. Fancy Fiction posted it, and I saw that picture. Like, oh, this picture was taken before noon because I can tell from the shadow of the sun, and I could tell from the picture that it was taken on a street that goes east and west, and Monroe goes east and west. And for the life of me, I could not find where that photo was taken. And I know that they've done like a lot of different construction since then. But I'm not too, I'm not like really good like the people on TikTok that can look at a photo and tell you where in the world it was taken. I'm not that good, but I can see certain things in a photo and kind of get a good idea of where the photo was taken. But outside of it being on a street that's going east and west, couldn't get much from it. But it was taken in the 11 o'clock hour, like no earlier than 10:30 a.m. and no later than noon. So when Isom asked Wendy about, was this before noon or not, Wendy asked Luis if it was something that they did before noon, like drove past the house when they saw her. Always gonna have haters and people that misinterpret, ignore. You know what? Sometimes it's hard for me not to, and I've it's because if I see someone that says something that or says that I said something and it wasn't really what I said, I have the urge to correct them because I don't want things to keep going off incorrectly. But sometimes I just can't do that. But I get what you're saying. The chief prosecutor said he has given the team a rest in time to handle other cases after winter break, a full jury pool in Tallahassee. I have to look that up. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Let's see. I am a French woman from Montreal. You're a French from what? I've been to Quebec, but not I haven't been to Montreal though. But that I can't. I want to know how to pronounce that. I like to, if I see your name up there, I want to be able to pronounce it. I'm not gonna. I don't want to butcher it, and I don't speak French. I'm sitting here trying to pronounce it in my head and looking crazy. And the food truck detail, yeah. Leslie put me on to that because that's toward the end of Wendy's interview with Isom. I just can't sit through that whole interview. I thought I had all the all the information that I would need to make a video, but geez, that was some good information from that. And that's why it's important to read everything if you can read everything in terms of documents, because it'll be that one piece of information that you looked over that can really like change your outlook on how you look at a case. You like following the psychologically and socially interesting cases? Yep, I really do. I didn't think of it that way, but I really do. I don't really. I can say like that's what I look for. I tend to become like immersed in a case once if someone says something that's just off, and then I'm like, then I just can't stop looking and reading everything. But like there's cases that are psychologically and socially interesting that I won't touch, like the Idaho 4 case. Like I don't feel like I have anything to. There's nothing that that I think that I could say about that case that would be unique and useful. And there was so much crazy stuff that people were posting about the people involved. You had professors being accused. Like people were just like pointing the finger at everybody. I'm not getting involved in that. That case was horrible. And some of the things that they were saying about those those kids themselves, the internet can be is something else. It really is. Secret was very obviously when these types just had. Oh, Jeff, no, man, Jeff. I feel bad for Jeff because he got caught up in Wendy's web of BS, and I don't know what she's. I mean, I have an idea what she's doing, but I don't know what she's saying to these dudes that would make. Didn't he say like she would be with one guy earlier that day, and then like 40 minutes later come over to him, and he would know, and she had like red marks on her from being like smacked and stuff. Oh, that's wild. And what's even really crazy about that is that could have just been like a learning experience, and then you could be talking about it like 10 years later, like, yo, there was a woman that worked in the law department at the school, and she was getting divorced, and man, she read. That's something that you would tell like to a younger person who's like in their 20s and is getting dogged out by some girl that's just being manipulative. That's one of those like, here, let me tell you about a story about Wendy Jill. But no, you have to be up on you have to be on the stand once every couple of years under oath to talk about the worst mistake you ever made in dating. I feel bad. He needs a GoFundMe. Just like every time I see him up there just saying the same thing and just being reminded about someone like her. That's just horrible. Because like if you're a dude that like if you get women and you're gonna get one of those manipulative ones, and you just may not really realize what's going on until it's too late. And that was Jeff. And he seems so smart to do something like that, but it's not really about your intelligence. It's just about he's empathetic. And also, another thing, think about this. Wendy is so obvious, like it's so obvious to me how she uses these dudes, like based off their job or their connections. Like Wendy wants to be an immigration attorney. She works and she's with Dan Markel. He's a law professor. She gets the connections. He does a clerkship for a federal appellate court judge. Then a year after Dan's killed, she does a clerkship for a federal judge. And then when she's trying to go through custody for her kids, she dates Jeffrey Lacasse, who's a professor of social work. She starts not a GoFundMe, a nonprofit with that one guy who's conveniently next door to ABC Liquors, and he's the ad litem attorney, you know, the ones that handled all the custody and all those cases. Foster care, we heard about that. And she's got this dude on her payroll. It's like whatever these dudes, it's like look at their LinkedIn, and that's what Wendy's trying to get from you. It's you got the social work and child custody guy, you got what's that? I forgot these other guys' names. I don't know how, but these IT specialists. She's with George. That dude George. He's with George. He was IT at Amazon and was AI into AI and stuff like that. Like there's something about these dudes' professions that she is using for herself. Let me catch up on these comments. Sherry says, I always thought that Katie was skimming the money that was supposed to be going to Hitman. You're the first to thank you. Katie is a super manipulative type female. And as much as like, I mean, Sigfredo is a cold dude, and even dudes like him get caught up, be in love with these women. And granted, he has 2 kids with them, but I don't know if you heard the what are they called? The phone tap, and the way she's talking to him, and then clicks over and talks to Charlie, like, oh, she had him in the web, and this dude's a straight killer. Ugh. But yeah, if she wasn't Sigfredo's woman, she'd be dead. Because people don't like what she was telling that person in the interrogation, the one she was trying to do the proffer, and you know, after she got convicted. She told a story that people don't survive to tell. If you listen to the details, like she talks in circles, but all those circles, there's some ovals in there, and they're bad. She's a thief. And if you listen to the phone tap recordings, she was saying some stuff to like Yindra and someone else. Like, yeah, girl, I made $1,500 for just an hour. Like she's lying about like the money she's getting, like to impress her friends, but she can't really say how she got the money. She wasn't getting that from that doing that bottle job. I mean, she was good looking, but I mean, like, she wasn't like making that kind of money. Georgia keeps asking Wendy in each trial, did you communicate with Katie on the day of the murder? There's a consistency in the way that Georgia Cappleman asks Wendy questions. And I know like Jackie St. Germain, she's made a video that goes over each question in each trial, and she asks her the same questions, but Wendy doesn't answer them the same way. They're evasive, but they're not as confident with the evasiveness. Like the 2019 Wendy, she felt like, yeah, I'm getting over, but like this recent one, whoo, she just she's tired. She knows it's a wrap. She knows it's a wrap. But also, I think it's about what she doesn't ask Wendy. There are things that she doesn't ask Wendy, and yeah, I could compile them, but I'll tell you, she doesn't ask Wendy specifically, where were you at 10:50 a.m. on July 18th? She just lets Wendy just tell her story like, oh, I had to do laundry and I write a paper and I emailed somebody. Nah. You're on Thomasville Road. They know that. Look, man, there are 34 federal agents on Donna's case in the paperwork. Wendy is done. You have all right. Let me just say this. This case is a state prosecuted case, but this case is being run by the feds. For what reason? I have a couple ideas, but they're there. You do not see 34 federal agents on a state violent felony conspiracy. You just don't have that. There's really, why not just charge it through the feds? All of the people that represent the Adelsons, their attorneys specialize in white collar federal conspiracies. They don't do violent felonies. Based on the type of lawyers that they get, tells you what they're trying to really defend themselves on. Man, I can't wait. I know I'm in that wiretap on Harvey's phone that was before Donna's trial, during Donna's pretrial phase. All that stuff that Harvey, whatever Harvey was talking about, had Drina and what's sister girlfriend's name? The brown skin girl with the braids. I forgot her name, but all those conversations, you know, they have to have something to do with Wendy. And just the fact that they got a wiretap, there is, okay, look, getting a wiretap is not like as quick as you may think. So if you're being investigated, whether by a state entity or the feds, if they apply for what's called a Title III, like search warrant to tap your phone or your iCloud and things like that, they've pretty much either exhausted all their options. Like they have enough to say, like, this person is doing all these things. We need to hear what he's talking about. Just that, all those things that they would bring to a judge before the wiretap, that's what Wendy should be afraid of. If someone's phone is tapped, if I had a friend and they were doing they were into something illegal, like say I wasn't into what they were doing that's illegal, but I was doing my own thing and we're just out there, right? If the feds have a tap on their phone, I'd be scared. It doesn't matter what's said on the phone so much. What matters is that they have so much research on you that they can tell how you're connected to them through phone records and things like that. And the feds have everybody's phone number. So if you were a person of interest on one case, and then you know someone else that may be under investigation and your number is in their phone book on their iCloud and they have their iCloud and you pop up, they'd be like, all right, that guy over there, we don't know really what he's doing, but he's doing enough because this person, and this person don't know each other, but they all know him. You see what I mean? It's stuff like that. They have to have a mountain of evidence on Wendy for this to be going on this long. I don't know what they have on her, but man, I bet you it's crazy. Just the stuff that they mention, they just give you a little with the Google the searches, that her proclivities, the adult content, the type of adult content she watches, that tells you all this other stuff that she may be into. But we'll just have to wait and see. Wendy, to me, will be easy to convict. She just has that smug look, cocky arrogance that comes across like she's smarter than anyone. I just think jurors will be turned off enough to convict. Yeah. What? Hold up. I just think the jurors will be turned off. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Wendy, to me, it will be easy to convict. She has that smug look, cocky arrogance, and comes across like she's smarter than anyone. I just think the jurors will be turned off enough to convict. But jurors can't convict based on if they're turned off on someone. But Wendy does have that I'm the smartest person in the room type of aura. And she kind of usually is the smartest person in the room, right? Like if you look at all the people that are around her, she may be the smartest person in the room for the type of people that she's around. Just enough to make her feel like, yeah, I'm smarter than everybody. But she's a lawyer. She went to law school. I heard all that. But she's not a criminal. She's not. Chris, you have to come. You know what? Yo, if Wendy gets arrested and she go, oh, look, let me tell you, I'll be there. I will be in the Tallahassee streets. I'm not going to hit up Shadrick Nobles and get a 40 bag. I'm not doing any of that stuff, but I will be there. And I might sit in the courtroom. Oh man, that's just, yeah, I would definitely be in Tallahassee. I would definitely be in Tallahassee. And I look good in a suit too. I know how to wear a suit. I'm not like one of those guys that that doesn't know how to tie a tie and doesn't know how to put shit together. Like, look, you'll see me. I've never been to Tallahassee before, but I would definitely pull up for that. Definitely. That's just oh man. It's the first time I see Wendy Adelson's face, and you know she's not gonna have any hair dye in there. Her grays are gonna come in. That Botox is gonna flatten out. She's gonna look every day of nights, since 1979. She's gonna look like every day and then some. Because that girl's stressed. You can see it. You can see it. when them feds are on you and you know they're coming one day or another, there's not enough Xanax in the world. I'm going to tell you, it's a buffet of Xanax. And she's probably popping like 2-3 bars a night just to get a blink of sleep. I know she's struggling. I know I can just see it now. Like, y'all don't know if you are certain that the feds, yes, the feds, not the state, the feds, not Craig Isom. I'm talking Sanford and Son, Sanford and all those people. You're not going to sleep. There is no sleep. You're going to be looking out the window every 8 seconds. You're going to have to take Imodium AD for breakfast. It's just going to fall out. Like you're just going to, it's tough. When they're coming for you, the feds are not like the state. The state will investigate someone for like 3 weeks for something and then kick your door down at 6 a.m. No, the feds will watch you for years. For years. And then it's over. Let me just. Shadrick has a straight job. Let me tell you something about Shadrick. Shadrick has a straight job. Shadrick, I know that people like make him out to be like, oh, he was a dealer and so. Nah, Shadrick was he was the guy that could get it for you if you need it. He wasn't a dealer per se. All right. I'm telling you because I know what I'm looking at. Shadrick just needed a couple extra dollars. He's chilling at the Roadway Inn, gets a couple 40s off, and he's good. If Shadrick were really in the streets like that, he wouldn't have taken a stand. Like, I don't consider like Shadrick like what people consider a rat. I don't consider him like that. He was just doing what he was doing. He didn't know these people were in town to kill someone. So Shadrick, like he just was looking out for the people that just were just on a whole nother type of time. Rich in the courtroom with sunglasses. Look, stop. Yeah, I'll be there. Yo, I for sure will be there. Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'm not gonna wear sunglasses though in a courtroom. I'm not like that disrespectful. People were super casual for Donald's trial. Yeah, that is true, but I don't. I wouldn't go to. I've never gone to court like in regular clothes. Like I just never done that, so I just wouldn't do that. When and if this happens, I'd never do that. It just doesn't feel right. Like if I had court, I'm dressed up. If I had a friend that had court, I'm dressed up. Did you say Winnie is not a criminal? I did say that, but what I mean is like Wendy's intelligence is applied to practicing law. Wendy's intelligence and her experience is not in the practice of breaking laws. So her aura of being the smartest person in the room, those credits don't transfer. There are a lot there. It doesn't. There's some criminal lawyers that do criminal stuff, but like Wendy's just not that. Charlie's just not that. Donna's definitely not that. These people don't. They're just. They're too. They just need to get over themselves. They just think they're like the beef in the stew all the time, and it just doesn't work that way. And so, if like just committing crimes, like crime itself isn't difficult. It's consistently getting away with it. That's the work. So from their perspective, given a Puerto Rican, a Cuban, and a Filipina 100 bands is that's all they got to do. But look, they're talking about all kinds of craziness on a phone tap. They have no discipline. They have nothing. There's nothing that, and people say like, oh, Wendy's the smartest one out of them. Just because she wasn't on the phone tap talking to these people doesn't mean that she's like, it just doesn't matter that way. It doesn't work. You are their family and you are around at specific points in time when they're planning this. So you don't have to be texting people, but you're at the continuum with your family for your dad's birthday, texting Dan Markel, seeing if he's going to be in Tallahassee. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. They are not disciplined in criminal activity. If they were, it would just be, it would have been a homicide, and they would have been like, oh, I don't know. But no, like there's so many things that they did leading up to it. Doesn't matter if she's not. No, listen. None of these people, except Sigfredo and Luis, are criminally seasoned. Katie's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. She's around it to know just enough, but she's not like that. Sigfredo and Luis were on an active federal investigation for a RICO. The RICO investigation started in January of 2014, and it ended in, I think, January of 2015. The feds were 7 months investigating these fools, the Latin Kings, for 7 months, and these fools were able to drive to Tallahassee a couple times, commit a homicide, and drive back, and then they get pinched for the RICO and don't even know. So what's that tell you? These dudes are next level criminals. I mean, like, people don't drive 7 hours on tequila and Yola, not sleep, follow someone around, and shoot them through the car window, and there's only one hole in the window because your hand is that steady where the recoil doesn't matter. Look, this is definitely not their first rodeo. You know what? I didn't know how to tie a tie until I was like 18. I had to Google that shit. I did. I never wore a tie. I don't like stuff around my neck and nah. And I never went to church or anything like that. I had no reason to wear a tie. I had a court date and I had to tie a tie. And I went right on Google. How do you tie a tie? Sometimes you don't. I mean, you gotta learn somehow. I get them mixed up because there's so much. I don't know who mixed up. You taught them. See, that's what's up. I remember when I tried. I'm not gonna even go there. Um, he's not. He's not saying she's not guilty, but she's an idiot. Oh, exactly. She won't have. She won't have that extra tangled hair on her head. I wonder what she like after the Botox. The this go. I don't know. Like I'm not really 100% on how the Botox works as far as how long it stays in your dermal region. But once she can lift her eyebrows up and those wrinkles come back and that gray starts setting in, oh, it's gonna be ugly. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, thank you. It's lilac. And I designed the design too. And then before you think, oh, you have a gun on your shirt, it's not about the gun. I'll explain that in a second. What? It would be the bomb if you want. Yo, yeah, I would definitely go. Oh, the design on my shirt. Let me show you. You see, it's an AK. It's a spider web, and there's a spider at the end. It's not really about the gun. The spider is its instinct is to make a web and just wait for its food to come to him. So by the design basically means I'd rather hunt to eat than wait to be fed. So that's what that means. And in real life, I design and print merch like this, and I'm pretty dope. I don't have like a shop for my own shit on here, but on YouTube. But I'm gonna do that soon. And it's not like the merch that you see from the shit that's on YouTube. I'll tell you that much. Like I'm like I'm really like that. So when you not to shit on anybody that has merch on YouTube, but the stuff that I can look at the pictures and the quality of this stuff, it's some it's not it's I'll tell you this much. It's not like the print quality is kind of sometimes like not centered right. And I look at everything, especially that. You ain't gonna get none of that from me, I'll tell you that much. My shit's built to last and it looks good. And people I can pass people at the bar. I can go to a bar, I can go to a club somewhere, and people wearing shit that I made and they don't know I made it. That's how dope I am with this shit. So not to, toot my own horn, but that's what I do. Anything new about the 2020? All right. I can read, guys. I really can. But I've been drinking Camarena for the past like hour and something. So anything new with the 2020 tonight about Adelsons? I didn't watch it. And Leslie from True Crime in a minute told me about it about 15 minutes before I started this live. I need to see it. And I can't wait to see Wendy's jail fro. You think she's got a jail? She's gonna have a jail fro? Oh, she's not gonna have the blue contacts either. She's gonna have the natural brown eyes. What's wrong with having brown eyes? You Botox on her her eyebrows are like that from a shitty brow lift. Straight up Jack Nicholson eyebrows. That's a compliment because she looked like Jafar. Like either Jafar or like what's that? You know when the people are protesting when some shit happens, they wear the white mask and it has like that guy that's like, I don't know, like the eyebrows are like this. It's like the anonymous mask. Her eyebrows were looking very villain-like. And once that shit deflates, you who was that? Who was the lady that poisoned her husband? The dude that was doing masonry work in like Utah, and she gave him that Michael Jackson, and he Corey Richins. All right, Corey Richins. Before she got arrested, she looked pretty good, but now she's been locked up for a minute. Where's Lindsay? All right. I have a pretty solid theory on the Lindsay Buziak case, but I don't have enough primary source information. And without that, I'm no different than anybody else that's made content about this case. I can't make a talk about a theory and refer to a narrative to base my theory on. I need primary source information, and I filed a FOIA for it. I'm just waiting on that. I do have one video that I'm gonna post, but until I get the rest of that information, I don't feel comfortable putting that out there, putting the type of videos that I make about this case without the type of information that I need in order to make my point stick. But I got you this week, though. Nobody happens to interviews about Dan's parents and others, but if they had anything, I doubt they put it on a 2020 episode because the only one left is Wendy. 5 people are in prison. What about Charlie, though? And that Charlie, damn, Jesus. Harvey. Wow. All right. Harvey. I don't know. I know you use Moms for Justice, but I don't know your name. But like, how are you? And jail isn't exactly a beauty treatment for women. It's not. If you look, you go to jail, you do like a year. If you're a man, you come back on point. That's if you're like taking care of yourself and stuff. But women in jail can go all kinds of different directions. But everybody I know that's, they come out looking pretty cut. But yeah, jail doesn't do the same treatment to women. Richard's how to remove microblading. What is microblading? I should know what that is. My girl's got a esthetician license. I've heard this term, but I don't know what that means. Corey is worse than Wendy. I gotta think about that one. Poisoning someone is insidious. You're gonna sprinkle in some that's I don't want to say one's worse than the other. They're both bad. I think the boyfriend is behind it. Oh, you're talking about Lindsay Buziak? Not in the way that you think, though, but I'm not going to say it, what I think right now. But that's the thing. If I had the primary source information, the shit would have been done. Like, I can get press releases from like 2009, 2010. I have all of those. But like the actual documents, Canada is really about the privacy. You can't just look up anybody and get anything. It doesn't work that way over at up there. Otherwise, I'd have had it. And the people that got the information, it was a media outlet in British Columbia that was filing in the Supreme Court of British Columbia for like 2 years. Like, that's real money to pay a lawyer to go in there and try to get documents from these people. And that's the only thing that I can use in order to get the documents for myself, is that they gave that media outlet documents after they sued for them a few times. But that's that I have a theory on that, but it's for me to just talk about it, I can't really do it without the visual aspect. And you saw it you watched my other video about it. I definitely need that. So my question is, why bother putting out a brand new 2-hour 2020 episode about the case when 5 people are already in prison? I'm hoping it's to bring Wendy to the forefront. All right. Look. There's a pattern that I noticed based on when major media outlets talk about this case and when someone gets arrested. And I have it written down. It's in my iCloud somewhere. And it's pretty much right when they air an episode, something happens. I could probably ask AI that. And it could tell me. So Moms for Just, her name's Carolyn. Thank you, Maya. The cell phone coming down the ferry is extremely sus. Oh man, I want to talk so much about that case, but right now I really can't. It's like I just don't have the information, and I don't think most people that are here know about Lindsay Buziak's case all like that. They may, but majority I don't think so. Just thinking it could be a surgical brow lift or Botox if she doesn't get it regularly, and they went crazy on placement in units. Is there like a lifespan on like a brow lift? Does it just like, if you get I don't even know what a brow lift really is. Do they just go like this? Like, I don't know. I'm probably hella wrong on that. This is the hardcore Get Windy crowd, and I'm glad to be here. I've been watching old trial clips all day. I find myself actually YouTube. If you got YouTube Premium, they'll just be playing like it just always just reverts back to Adelson stuff, and I'll just like while I'm working on something else, it'll just be like Jeff Licassi again. Yeah, I'll watch it too. but I try not to watch it too much because it's like, I don't know. I feel like almost like I know exactly what they're about to say because I've studied this case so much. I wish they wouldn't have granted her wish. She's a gut rotten human and a liar. Don't do her any favors. Canada and Australia are tough when it comes to FOIA requests. Yeah. They're different. They're different. They're just not putting everybody's information out there. Like what you would expect, like in the United States, to get off a FOIA request, you might have to pay for it. You might have to pay a lot. You may have paid almost nothing. You might be able to just be like, look, man, I need case number 011, something like that. You can get that stuff. Some states easier than others. But Canada's got it locked down. Like, I literally filled this. I filled out this online request. I wrote a whole letter, like a whole, like, like an actual a legal request, as much as a non-lawyer can make one. And I had to send a copy of my passport. Yo, I mean, come on. That's crazy. That's wild. Like, you need all this just to tell me what, if it's freedom of, it's something else in Canada. It's like FOIPPA. I don't, Freedom of Information Privacy Protection Act. I think that's what that means. But I had to do all that. So they're yeah, there's something else, but over up there. There was a photo as a child with blue eyes, contacts to it. As a child with colored contacts? Oh, I don't know. That's what. Oh, yo, I'm gonna. Shit, I want to ask AI, but I want to type the shit and have y'all waiting on me to type it in. Botox lasts 3 to 6 months. "2020 has an Edelson segment out. I thought it was all right. Evil Influencer, Jodie Hildebrand, and Ruby Frankie also came out yesterday on Netflix. It was okay. Nothing we all haven't seen before. Okay. Jodie Hildebrand and Ruby Frankie are just, they're devils too. And I don't understand how, where were they? They were in Utah, right? The 4 years to life. I don't know their sentencing guidelines in Utah, but they're kind of weird. Like, just give them 25 years. That 5 years to life, it sounds crazy. When he gets loaded with Botox before testimony, so she doesn't have a furrowed brow. Look, I was gonna put this out, but I just didn't want to be like, seem like a, what's the word, like dramatic or sensationalist. There were 2 women that were sitting separately that were with Wendy, and from my understanding of how people look when they're on certain things, it was like Addy and Xanax, Adderall and Xanax at the same time. And it was to me, it was very obvious. I don't know their name. I definitely know there was one lady, I don't know her name at all, but like I knew she was with Wendy. I could tell, and like Jesus, their jaw was just like it was like side like Bobby Brown. Like they're definitely on. I mean, that's what I noticed from it, but Wendy definitely looks like she takes benzos before trial. Like the slow blinking, like she would like I know she puts on like the innocent face, but her blinking is just a little too slow. They look kind of zanned out, a little Zandemic. But whatever she's got to do to get through it, she's got to do. But the girl that was with her, I don't know her name, but she looks like a football player. Like kind of I don't know. Like her face looks very almost like a bulldog, but like there's a picture of her in the little waiting area with Wendy. Y'all know who it is. I know y'all know. And Jesus, like there you go. I feel like like someone could say that about me, like, oh, you look like you're on some blue, 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 blue. Yeah, you can say that, but like there's no way of really knowing it. And I don't have a way of really knowing it, but I can. Wendy's blinks were very slow. It was like some of them were like if you had like the windshield wipers like on medium, it's just like that. It was just like some of those blinks were just. It wasn't like putting on an innocent act. It's like she definitely was benzoed out a little bit. But we all know that from Jeff that she's basically like an alcoholic, and her skin doesn't look that good either. Just to keep it real with y'all, like she's. Um, y'all mind if we talk about the Madeline Soto case for a second? Because that's another case I talked about. I did some content on this past year. Because we can go all and on about Wendy. It'll be a celebration. Like I've never really been like in life. When someone if there's a case and there's a defendant, of course, like I'm usually like pro defendant depending on the charge. But like I never really was like set on just seeing someone get locked up other than Wendy Adelson. That was like the first person like get locked them, get her out of here. But they need to say something as to why. Well, I think we'll probably know in due time. All right, so let's get off the Wendy Jill and talk about Madeline Soto. Now, all right, just a quick consensus. Like if you know about the Madeline Soto case, press 1. If you don't know about the Madeline Soto case, marque dos. All right. Well, with the 1.5. All right, Amy. No one really likes the Madeline Soto case, of course, but it's I know that we all know Stephen Stearns has been okay. PJ SoCal. Okay, so here's the Reader's Digest version, and hopefully I'm doing it justice. So, Madeline Soto, born February 22nd, 2011, was a 13-year-old girl who wound up being reported as missing on February 26th of 2024. Her mother goes on the news saying that her boyfriend had dropped her off at school, close to the school, and then after some investigating, after 3 days, Madeline was found in like a field, like maybe like 20 minutes away from our house. And just prior to when she was found, her mother's boyfriend was found to have a large amount of Nickelodeon on his phone in his Google Drive. Some of that had contained images and video of Madeline Soto. So he gets arrested on February 29th, 2024, and they approach the mother about this, and she doesn't seem all that surprised. Now, I'm not going to get into the subjective parts. I'm just telling you, I'm going to stay on objectively what happened. So they pressed the mother, her name's Jennifer, about all of the things that they have discovered about Stephen Stearns, and Stephen Stearns is Jennifer Soto's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, however she characterizes it. And they ended up finding Madeline's body on March 1st of 2024. This girl was I don't even have a word for it, but Jennifer's boyfriend was doing adult things with her, to her, not with, to her, for 5+ years prior to that. So this has been an ongoing thing. So he's arrested for the charges that would be applied for the situation that I just described to you. Now, there's a lot with this case. I've never really had to explain a case off the cuff, but this first was on. I'll tell you how I learned about it, and that might help. So when this first happened, when this first got on the interwebs, this was talked about in the regular news in Orlando, and then on YouTube. I learned about it on YouTube from Plunder. And I was watching her channel, and gee whiz, she had the worst Spanish translating app going on that page. Lord, sorry, but that's just, I was hearing a lot of going on, and I had to do the research myself. Now, Jen's mother was talking about the situation after she, had called 911. She was talking to the news, but she was speaking in Spanish. Plunder had a translation. It was confusing to me. I went right to Telemundo and got the information. All right. Now, that's no shot at Plunder. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the translation was confusing for me. But, like, now, that 3-day investigation, there was a lot that happened. A lot of just really weird things, like with the mother of this child. And I think that a lot of people who really gravitate to this case, this is my opinion, of course, there's something about someone in this case that's involved in this case. I'm talking about either family or the dynamic that resonates with them. This is it's nothing like the Adelsons, okay? I think that there's something with this that makes this very different than a lot of other cases that you typically see on YouTube. And I'd say for me, Jen Soto is like a super minimal version of, in terms of lying ability and being clever, as my own mother. Okay, so Jen has a way of talking that's just like, geez, it's just it's this is not like, I can't compare it to any other case in terms of, because it really got a lot of attention. And I can just say, like, there's something about, like, at least, like, from my perspective, watching this from, not as a YouTuber, but like as a just learning about the case, because I didn't post anything about this until I think October of 2024. Like, this man's been arrested, it's going through pretrial and stuff. I really studied this case for a long time before I talked about it. And I can't do it justice talking about it here, but I'll tell you that there's a lot of material on it. I don't suggest watching mine first. You should watch it from someone that explains cases a lot better than I do. My content breaks down small details after you've already understood the case at a decent level. But this case, and like the content that I made about it, and some of other stuff that I had to deal with around this, I learned a lot about, like, just the internet in general, like the types of people that are on the internet. But I won't go into, like, those types of people. But I learned a lot about how certain people operate. And I mean the offenders. and I had like to really understand like the Stephen Stearns person. There are certain traits that these people have, like just across the board in general, like the psychology of it. I even asked my own psychiatrist, like, yo, what? Because this, I, this, this case is so bad, and um, shit, I can't even explain it. It's, I had like to really understand this case to be able to talk about it. I had to learn about how these people operate. And in addition to that, when I was like 11, 12, I was in like a group therapy with like other kids that had various types of trauma. Okay. Now, there were a couple girls in my in this group therapy. And I remember the stuff that they were saying back then, and they were like 2, 3 years older than me, and I didn't understand what they were talking about. Like their mom was dating a guy, and the guy would go in their room after their mom went to sleep. That type of stuff. I didn't understand that. Like I didn't my I just it just didn't really register, like really understand the depth of what was going on. And I'm cool with them to this day. Like I'm grown as hell. Like you can see how they color my grades. Like I'm grown, and I'm still cool with them to this day. And it was almost like I was hearing these stories, and they started like making sense, like based on how Jen Soto was talking. I'm like, yo, if you take away the words that just Jen Soto's saying and just envision what would be happening based on what she's describing, I'm remembering these stories from way back, and I'm like, this is my opinion, Jen Soto and Stephen Stearns did not have a real relationship. They never talked about anniversaries or any other relationship type stuff. Flowers, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like this was happened in February, end of February. They didn't talk about any like Valentine's Day. They didn't have to do a Valentine's Day. Just talk about how they didn't do anything for Valentine's Day because they were no longer together. There's a lot of relationship related things that they just weren't talking about. They're just talking about he's boyfriend, ex-boy, like so. The more I listen to the audio recordings and the way that Jen would talk about D Ruggs, told me a lot. And so I could tell by the way that Jen was talking about certain things, I knew the means in which Stephen was acquiring those things. And they weren't through normal channels. I'll say that. And the affect that Jen has in certain body cam, she is fully affected by the Zandemic. Okay. And how she talks, her like everything, it's the Zandemic. Okay. And And after like really understanding the timeline, this was an arrangement. In my opinion, Jen Soto was hooked on counterfeit bars, okay? And I actually break it down in one of my videos because I saw one in the evidence photo that they redacted the pill bottle. But it doesn't matter to me because I will zoom in on that shit and I will show you. So I could tell through the bottle that it was a counter, like one of the counterfeit blue 2 milligram Zans that go around. Okay, they're not the regular ones, and those are super addictive, and it's the worst thing to be hooked on. Okay, so I could tell based on the timeline that Stefan would receive stuff from, I would say, the dark web. I'll just say it, the dark web. And he would receive other things that were like gamer related and other things from like Amazon and things like that. And based on a lot of other things that I tried to put a video out on, but it got taken down, which is a whole nother story. But like, this arrangement was where Stefan would produce Nickelodeon, okay, and sell it through with those people, and also purchase certain things from the other people. And I can tell that he gets a lot of different things through the dark web based on how Jen talks about it. And because she doesn't know when to lie about this, okay? Because if she says it's in certain kind of container, it doesn't come in that container unless you get it from over there and they have to send it in such a way that you won't get caught up. So she's describing what some would call OPSEC. And OPSEC is like your I think it's operation security. So how you get things through the mail and whatnot. All right, how to not get caught. She's describing those things to police, not knowing that's what they are. And so I could tell that he's getting stuff and he's selling it for cash. Like, but they're not buying other things with money. They're paying for things on Amazon through like Amazon gift cards, and then, but you don't see them spending money because he's not receiving tangible funds from the Nickelodeon. He's receiving it in most likely crypto because he does that too. So he's exchanging it for other things and then selling stuff on the street. Anyway, this dude and Jennifer have to be in a relationship in order to justify Stefan having unfettered access to this child. Because, I mean, shit. I mean, I thought about this. If I have a friend and my friend is dating a girl and that girl has a kid, if he's over there all the time while the kid's there, I'm going to be like, what are you doing? Like, go get a babysitter for, like, she needs to get a babysitter. So, you know, that's how I think. Now, when they're not doing the babysitter thing. He moves in. But for him to move in, they have to be in a relationship because he's not a roommate. He goes from her friend to best friend, and now they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And from boyfriend and girlfriend to dating and living together, that gives a reason for him to be in the same house as Madeline without her mother there. Now, I'm not going to go too far into like the things leading up to it, but up to February of 2024, because you can go on my channel and watch that stuff after you watch other channels and learned about the case. Because I'm telling you, don't watch my stuff first. You get the general idea from everyone else, but when it comes to the details, then come back to me. So I did some research and I took all of Stefan's Reddit user data and I compiled them into a timeline, which I have yet to show y'all because I was trying to show y'all and then it got taken down. I'm not going to tell that story, but all of his posts, I have the date, the time, of course, and from that, I can tell that there's a pattern in which he talks about certain things. He talks about purchasing things or receiving things in the mail on certain days. He buys vapes, like this stuff, on Mondays and Wednesdays. This man is dirty, doesn't shower, but this man is OCD with the other stuff. He talks about, and he's to have a job, so he will talk about receiving certain little gamer things that he's into, and then talk about like how he was able to find certain models of certain things on certain days of the week at certain times. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, he would buy vapes at 9 a.m. Like, this dude is like really meticulous. But in the paperwork, the dates that he's producing Nickelodeon are like 4 hours before, like, I say like they're all like within like 2 to 5 a.m. on certain days of the week. So with that pattern, and I'll tell you this. I am next level with pattern recognition, bro. I'm a fucking almanac. I don't need AI for this. I can just read a bunch of data and I can sort it out in my head. I'm like that. So he does these things on certain days in terms of like buying things, so I can tell when he gets money, when he spends money, when he receives things. That's my term for it. That's a term I made up without having to say all that. You know what I mean? So I compiled all that information and I put it up against the paper, like the dates and the times and the days of the week of the other things that he's doing that are disgusting. And while I'm doing that, I saw a post on Reddit and it was enough to make me go look at the profile. And I look at the profile and I'm going through the post, and there's only like 30 posts for this profile that's been active for like 4 years. So I notice the things that they talk about are things that Jen Soto has done in her life in terms of making money. Like Rover, if you had a Rover, like they like walk dogs and stuff. They watch your dog when you're out of town. And there are a couple other things I can't think of off the top of my head that are very Jen Soto related. And this is this past summer, okay? This is like May. And there was a bunch of comments that were suddenly made on like one of the Madeline Soto related subreddits, and I'm reading them, and I'm like, this person is talking about just this. You're only talking about Madeline Soto for 5 or 6 comments, but the previous 25 are about random things. And those random things just happen to be things that Jen Soto has done. And the things that she's talking about are falling in within very close to dates of their birthdays. And I'm like, yo, this can't be her, right? So hold up, let me find this. I gotta read this to y'all. And when I read this comment, this shit was hold up. Where is this at? And how I figured this out. Oh, I can't wait till I drop this next video and show you all this shit. She talks about these certain type of boots. And those boots in those November of 2023, I believe. It was November 2023, right before Thanksgiving. She makes a post asking about these certain types of boots. Stephen Stearns makes a post commenting about these certain types of boots. And I'm like, in the same fucking week. And then in the evidence pictures, the fucking boots are under the nightstand, goddammit. I'm like, what the? That's her. Listen, I does this. Let me find this fucking. She said something on Reddit. I archived that shit too. I'm 90% sure I went to Wayback Machine and was just like, save forever, because I knew she was gonna delete that shit, which she did. Man, she said some foul shit. Let me find this. Just give me a second. And then I'm gonna get, damn, it's 1:20 in the morning. Jesus. All right, let me find this. But yo, when I found that and I saw those boots, the same ugly ass boots, these were some, I don't remember the name of them, but they're not a normal type of like Timberland or something like that. It was something weird. And these shoes were ugly as exactly what you would think Stephen Stearns would wear. These are some ugly ass boots. They look like those baseball mitts from the 1930s and the 1920s, the ones that just look like a ball of leather that you would see like Babe Ruth, like, you know, those guys have, the kind that didn't have like the thumb with him. It was just like this. Those were those boots. And they are right under the nightstand. I lost my mind. So I have all this data between Stephen talking about these damn boots, Jen talking about boots and all this other stuff. And she posted this. She was going back and forth with someone on Reddit, and I got the whole thing. Let me find this screenshot. Bear with me, y'all. But during that time, like summer, some these people on I'm not gonna even go there. Not gonna even go there. I'm trying to think about that right now. I'm gonna find this, y'all. Just give me a second. I got a lot of screenshots. And then I will let y'all go. And where is this? But she said I have to read this quote out to you because this is damn it. I have so many screenshots of this, and I just gotta find the right one, of course. Damn it. Man. Just give me a second, y'all. I know what I'm gonna do. And then I'll put this on the screen too. Come on now. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm not like the best with this StreamYard. I'm still learning. And I'm gonna try to put this up on the screen so y'all can see this. Come on now, where is this? All right, just give it a second to load. I'm not the best at multitasking. Let's see. It won't show up. All right. I'm just gonna find it and then screenshot it and put it up there. Give me a second. All right, it's one screenshot. We're almost there, y'all. All right. And this is, I'm almost certain this is Jen Soto just trying to act like she's not her. So let me get the next screenshot. And then oh yeah, this is foul too. A lot of just weird stuff from her. All right. And then let me get the actual really crazy one. All right. I think there's one more gem in here, and then we will get to reading. Yes. All right. No, not that one. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. So let me go over here and then damn it. Okay. All right, I'm trying to figure out how to. All right, whoop, and then image. Give me 1 second. All right, you see that? You see it? All right, so all right, can you see? I'm trying to share this. Can y'all see that? Oh man. All right, I'm trying to share an image. Is it showing or no? I see words. All right. All right, fine print. Okay. So it's up there. So this was in the Jen Soto subreddit. Now, this is, if you're not familiar with Reddit, or there's a page called Revetted, and that basically just compiles everyone's posts in real time. So you can just download all of the posts and comments that they've ever made. I know it's small, and so I'm gonna read it. So if I can make this. All right, I don't know how to make it bigger, but anyway. So this is what she's replying to people. So she says, "Who said it was acceptable? I said she didn't do anything illegal that could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm not saying Jennifer's choice are okay. She is a good parent or an acceptable parent. I am saying she didn't do anything illegal. That doesn't mean she didn't do anything wrong. She isn't going to be arrested. The case is closed. Maddie will get justice when they execute the man that killed." All right. Now, I think that was the first one I saw that was like, how would you know that the case is closed? Like, how would you know that? So that's very specific. And all right, so the original post was titled, "I think she did it," like talking about saying Jen Soto actually unalived Madeline. So this is, I think, what got a reaction from who I think Jen Soto is with this profile. So she says, "I never said Jennifer was a good parent. I said she didn't know. She didn't know because she was on so many pills. She didn't know the day of the week." That's falling right into my Zandemic theory. And I'm like, how would she know this unless you're her? Then she says, "My knowing." She said, "My knowing isn't a crime, and neither is being a shitty parent. I don't think it's even a crime if she knew about all of it and just didn't give a shit. It happens every day." Come on now. And like 2 days later, that shit was, all those comments were deleted. And I have more shit to connect her to this page too. She was able to function enough to hold a stable job. Barely. She worked a job for like a week and a half. She worked for Stefan's parents. That's how they met. They don't talk about that like openly, but she worked for them. So she was doing the Rover thing, but she would get like jobs through like Tempe. I think the job that she got with Stefan's parents, it was through a temp agency, and she only worked there for a short time. Exactly. It's not That's what I'm saying. It's definitely not an excuse to neglect your child. There's no excuse to neglect the child. But her rationale for, like, the person that is saying this is speaking in absolute terms from a first person perspective and has a, I mean, she didn't know what day of the week it was, but she definitely didn't know not to use first person pronouns on an anonymous Reddit. So she's got more stuff in here, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. I've been on here for a minute. So yo, I appreciate y'all rocking with me for this 2.5 hours. I didn't plan this out. I'm clearly not like super prepared with all my notes. I just wanted to say that this year I'm putting YouTube as a priority. And it won't be like me posting once a month, you know, once every 6 weeks, an occasional live stream talking shit. It won't be like that. It'll be consistent. So that's what I wanted to say for 2026. But I'm gonna have this video breaking all this data down with Stefan and Reddit, Jen Soto, Reddit, and Wendy's Television Part 9, and Ray Rivera type, possibly like before summer. If y'all have cases that caught your eye, like, let me know. And if I get that feeling, I'll knock it out. So I'm gonna let y'all get to sleep because it's 1:39 a.m. here, and I ain't trying to keep y'all up forever. So y'all be safe, all right?